Bill Barr, Donald Trump's former attorney general, legal Rottweiler, and guy who said that he would vote for him again in 2024, was recently asked on C-SPAN whether or not Donald Trump is fit for office in 2024. And his answer may surprise you. Intrigued? Then click that like and subscribe and enjoy the video. So we haven't talked about Bill Barr in a minute, but there's quite a bit to talk about. Bill Barr was the former Attorney General first under President George H.W. Bush in the late 80s, early 90s, and then once again in the Trump administration. Bill Barr is a smart man. That is absolutely certain. There's no question about it. But he's also a partisan hack for a man who's supposed to be the nation's top law enforcement officer, who is somewhat independent from the president. The relationship between the president and the attorney general is a bit complicated because the attorney general is a member of the president's cabinet, so the president is his boss. The president is the one who appoints the attorney general with advice and consent from the Senate, and the president can fire the attorney general at any given time. So there is an employer-employee relationship. But the idea over time was that the attorney general was supposed to be somewhat independent, right? That they were not supposed to be a political appointee or a political hack the way that other people may be. The way that, for example, a press secretary might be for a president, because they're supposed to advocate for the president's agenda, whereas the attorney general is supposed to enforce the nation's laws. So it's a complicated relationship. But again, Bill Barr's smart. He's experienced. But during the Trump administration, he caught a lot of flack, justifiably so, because he didn't react with a degree of independence. Like, people on the right complain about Attorney General Merrick Garland, who, is President Biden's attorney general. But the fact of the matter is, right now, Merrick Garland has appointed a special counsel to investigate President Biden, his boss. So Merrick Garland is technically allowing an investigation of his own boss. Bill Barr would have never done that for Donald Trump. Never. There's no close comparison here. That's how much of a biased hack Bill Barr is, and he demonstrated it throughout Trump's presidency. But after leaving office, Bill Barr has been critical of Donald Trump. But he's also said that as much as he doesn't like Donald Trump, he would vote for him in 2024 if he's the Republican nominee. But he was asked on C-SPAN today, as a matter of fact, by actually another right-wing political commentator, Geraldo Rivera, who is a Fox News contributor. He was asked very bluntly, listen, Donald Trump is probably going to be the Republican nominee in 2024. Is he fit for office? So I want you to see this exchange. We're playing it at 1.25 speed, so it's going to be a little quicker because it's about a 2.5-minute clip. Let's take a look.
Apologies to our friends at WKSU. We're going to do one last question.
I'll go on your show, Geraldo.
Yeah. And this man knows that we're coming up against the top of the hour here, too.
I am honored. I'm honored to be here. And General Barr, you really are my favorite person in Washington. I was filled with admiration for the way you kept being relatively friendly with the president, the way you kept the walls from falling in, kept him from absolutely cracking up during Russia, as he was being assailed nonstop. Having said that, I think January 6th was more profoundly disruptive and more serious than maybe some of your remarks. But you are my favorite person in Washington. I think the most honest person in Washington.
Thank you.
And the question I have for you, given that I trust you so, is Donald Trump, a lot of my friends say, okay, he's made mistakes, and okay, January 6th, and okay, this and that. It is his policies that we'd be voting for. Given that pragmatic side also, do you think he is emotionally fit to be president of the United States? I disagree. I think that Trump and Biden will be the candidates, that whatever that says about the United States. Is he fit to be president of the United States? Is Donald Trump fit to be president?
Okay, he finally got there, but that is a very important question. There was a lot of fluff, a lot of smoke, but Geraldo finally got to a pertinent question to ask a very intelligent, very powerful conservative political operative who used to work for Donald Trump. So this man knows better than most what it's like to work for Donald Trump. This is an informed opinion. And he has said, even since he has left Trump's employ, and even despite criticizing him since he has left Trump's employ, that he would vote for Trump in 2024. Well, let's see what he has to say. Former Attorney General Bill Barr, what he has to say now.
This is the way I'll answer that, Geraldo, which is, if you believe in his policies, he's what he's advertising as his policies, he's the last person who could actually execute them and achieve them. He does not have the discipline. He does not have the ability for strategic thinking and linear thinking or setting priorities, or how to get things done in the system. It is a horror show when he's left to his own devices. And so you may want his policies, but Trump will not deliver Trump policies. He will deliver chaos and, if anything, lead to a backlash that will set his policies much further back than they otherwise would be.
That's a very direct answer.
Thank you, General.
Well, there you have it. I know that might not mean a lot to people, especially MAGA supporters, MAGA cultists, Cult 45 as I call them, because so many people who have worked for Donald Trump, so many people, dozens of people who have worked in the Trump administration or for the Trump campaign or for, Trump's real estate empire, like his non-political ventures. So many people over the years have come out and said, this guy's an idiot. This guy's a narcissist. This guy is selfish. There's no strategic thought in his mind. He's extremely unethical. He's corrupt. He's disloyal, all these things. And it seems like the tried and true Trump supporters don't care. But for those of you who are on the fence, and they are out there, perhaps this combination of words from this man will persuade you. Again, Bill Barr is a tried and true conservative, has been for decades. He's worked for multiple administrations. He was very loyal to Donald Trump throughout the Trump administration, but not so loyal as to break the law. Like, Bill Barr bent over backwards to try to soften the blow of the Mueller report and other things. He actually looked exhaustedly into whether or not there was election interference, even though there was no basis for the claim in the first place. Bill Barr bent over backwards to try to make Donald Trump an effective president. So for him to come out and say, listen, I've worked for this guy, and I went to work for him because I liked his policies too, blah, 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 blah. But if you're looking for Trump policies, Trump's not your guy because he's so stupid and corrupt and disruptive and unstrategic that he'll never get those policies accomplished. And he'll actually generate more backlash, which will further delay the potential execution of those policies. So hopefully people who are on the fence will take this to heart.